A lifetime of hard work, children laughing in the kitchen, family photos on a restaurant wall, a legacy that lives on. It all comes from the power of a conversation, like the one Tommy Hall had with First Horizon Bank about taking over his father's Charleston-based restaurant business. Now the table is set for a whole new generation. First Horizon Bank. Let's find a way. Go to firsthorizon.com/Tommy. First Horizon Bank, member FDIC.
Extra 106.3 and a Second Chance Bail Bonds are here to back your blue. Back Your Blue highlights special initiatives, criminal justice programs, and community events aimed at keeping our communities safer. Join a Second Chance Bail Bond CEO Daniel Matalon and host Tug Coward to learn some good news about and from the law enforcement and justice communities. Now it's time to back your blue on Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra 106.3 app.
Welcome to Back Your Blue. My name is Tug Cowart. This is Extra 106.3, Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station. Today, along with Daniel Matalon of the CEO of a Second Chance Bail Bonds, we've got guest representatives from Blue Thanksgiving. And before you go, Tug, I don't know what the world Blue Thanksgiving is. That's what we're here to tell you about. Kim Peace Hill and her husband, Doug Hill, is a Marietta attorney, and they founded Blue Thanksgiving, along with Barbie Brown, who is an avid supporter of law enforcement, loves the cause, loves what they do there at Blue Thanksgiving, and has jumped in with us today. Welcome. Thank y'all for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. So this got started back in 2014, and this was when the things were probably at fever pitch. When you're hearing the crazy defund the police, all the just the negativity around the police departments, which I think now even the craziest of people in the world are going, you know what, that was a really bad idea. Mm-hmm. And you're seeing cities like New York and Chicago and San Francisco, they're really going back to maybe we should fund our police department and support them because crime is out of control. What changed? Oh, we defunded them. We told them we didn't want them anymore. We didn't like them in our communities. And that has led to where we are now, and things are starting to turn around. But this is something that y'all started to support law enforcement.
That's right. Back in 2014, I think that was following the Ferguson riots. All of the hostility that was taking place toward the police was just at a horrible height at that point in time. And we just decided we needed to step up and do something to show them a little bit of support in the midst of all the hatred. And so we started out, delivered a tray of cookies to Cobb County headquarters. The woman, when I walked in the door and went to the window, she looked at me like I had three eyeballs. She
probably hadn't seen anybody as kind as that in a minute or two.
It had been a while, I think. And they were actually a little nervous. They were nervous to take anything consumable.
Oh, my gosh. I can only imagine. I never even crossed my mind.
I couldn't even tell you if for sure they even ate it. They may have turned around and out of precaution or for safety, thrown it away, which I wouldn't blame them for. But at any rate, that's how we started. And the following year, I told my husband we need to do something a bit more. That just wasn't enough. So I reached out to 3 precincts. It was, back then it was Kennesaw, Marietta, and Cobb Precinct 1, because those were the closest to where we lived. I said, we want to do Thanksgiving Day dinner for the officers who have to work. It's just something my husband and I wanted to do. And so I went into the kitchen and turkey and dressing and sweet potato souffle and everything that Mama makes every year.
Yes, ma'am.
And
got my attention already.
We delivered it out there, and I took out chafing dishes and pumpkins and flowers, and it was beautiful. And they were beside themselves. They couldn't believe it.
That's awesome, Kim. Daniel, how did you get to know Kim and Barbie?
Well, Blue Thanksgiving is something that falls within our core values at a Second Chance across the entire brand. So it was actually through one of my employees that works for me that told me about Blue Thanksgiving. And as we're always looking for opportunities to be involved in the community, in each community that we serve. And once I found out about it, I was like, this is a no-brainer for us. And obviously we got behind it and want to support it at any chance we can. So.
Okay, well now Barbie.
Well, I'm just over here smiling. So I have been married to one for 22 years. and he will be on the force with Cobb County for 30 years.
God bless
at
him.
the first
Thank him for
meal.
his service.
Thank you so much. So he still remembers that first meal that Kim brought.
No way.
Yes, absolutely.
So
Talked about-
he knows if it got tossed or if they actually ate. No, actually that was the cookies.
He might have brought it home.
Yes, all right. So it was the actual first meal that he remembers. Okay, got it.
That's exactly right. And so when I found out about what she was doing and the support that Second Chance has been giving and several others within our community, it was a no-brainer for me to jump in there and say, Kim, how can I help?
Is that natural for you?
Oh my gosh.
Is that something that you have enjoyed? Because look, we always talk about getting involved in your communities. The things that happen in Washington, D.C. and under the Gold Dome absolutely affect you. But the things that really affect you are the things happening in your community. Your mayor, your city council, your county commission, your sheriff or chief of police, the school boards. We see how important community is. And we're always talking about we need to be involved and more involved. So it was natural for you to do that.
It was, and it's been like a domino effect, actually, because about a month ago, and even during all the riots, this will be our second one. I held a ladies' brunch, LEO Wives Brunch, and Blue Thanksgiving actually sponsored it this year, and we were able to have a prayer breakfast and get all the ladies together.
Love that.
And just support each other because, we're a part of what they do. They're out there on the front lines, but we're waiting for them to come home.
That's right.
So what the community's doing for our first responders means so much to me as a wife.
Can I ask you about that? Because I think we know, and Daniel, you can probably speak to this too. We know what the law enforcement officers themselves are thinking. That we know where their headspace is. Their goal is to do their job to the best of their ability and get home to their families. What about for the wives? Because I can't imagine that. Or spouses. Maybe it's a female officer, because there's plenty of those too. And it's the husband and his wife is leaving for a shift. Where is their mindset right now?
For me, and I probably could speak for many others, it's I just say that we support each other. We pray a lot. Our first responders, they're good ladies, good men. Like, they're out there, and for the ones that wanted to defund the police or did not want to have them, they were still going to go anyways. I knew that my husband was going to show up even if you didn't like him. And that was hard for me when I was at home.
Oh my gosh, I can
knowing
imagine.
you didn't like him, but he's still going to be there for you because that is the person that he is.
Oh my gosh. And I have a feeling, Kim, you and your husband saw that value that these men and women bring to the community, and that's what sprung you into action.
My son is actually in law enforcement.
Okay,
as
so
well.
there we go. An even bigger.
It's a family.
It absolutely
It's a family.
is.
It's the Blue family. While Barbie can definitely relate to the concerns and the fears of a wife married to or a spouse of a law enforcement officer, I have the fear
Of a mama.
of a mama. Yeah, and my son is with a federal agency now, but when we started Blue Thanksgiving, he was with Riverdale Police Department, and they have a lot of things that take place down there. He became very quiet and wouldn't tell me much. I had to hear it on the news. And then he came up to Cobb County and went to work with the sheriff's office in Cobb County. But I did have the same fears and concerns that a lot of spouses have.
I would imagine. I mean, I can't wrap my head around it. Like, my son's in college over at College of Charleston, and he's just away from me, and I think about him every day. And I don't know that I worry about him, but I do. At the same time, like, I'm not fretting every second about what he's doing, but every day I'm thinking about, okay, how's he doing? Is he safe where he is? And I think generally the answer is yes. You never know. I mean, there's craziness that happens around this world. So, Daniel, for these officers and families to put themselves in the line of fire, physically put themselves in the line of fire, it's a different fear than I have. My son's not standing, next to people who are fighting or protesting. He's on a college campus. I mean, surely there's some craziness going there too, for sure. We could point to a lot of that going on. But these families are injecting themselves into a situation that could and eventually will be volatile.
Yeah, and it's a double-edged sword, right? Because they're arresting people obviously for for committing crimes and whatnot. But then we're getting these people out, right? Because it's part of the process, right? It's the system. And then these people end up doing wrong, right? So then we kind of meet law enforcement on the back end of it when we're looking for these people ourselves. And then we're, leaning on them as well, for backup. So, I mean, my thoughts on law enforcement, I couldn't speak more highly of what they do. And, I have the utmost respect and support for these people and these families. And honestly, quite frankly, I think we should be doing more for them, honestly. But that's a whole nother subject for another day.
I have a feeling that these ladies will probably have a good sort of input, some ideas on how to. Maybe we'll get in that as we start kind of winding down this segment. As maybe we'll talk about some of those things that you think, and both you ladies think that we should be doing for our law enforcement and their families, especially if, God forbid, something bad happens, an injury or even worse. Some of the things that those families deserve and need, because I'm sure you've seen it up close. I mean, you had to have. There's not a chance that you've not seen something that's just absolutely heartbreaking, and then there's nothing to fix it. There's nothing to put it back together.
Too many times.
Yeah. It's remarkable. And I'm sure with your son being at Riverdale and now in a federal agency, I'm sure he's in the same boat, right? He sees things that are broken apart and
they can't. That's another topic, but they cannot unsee the things that they are witnessing and the things that they deal with. And Blue Thanksgiving has a goal in 24 of helping with that as well. But the things that they go through and they face and they see is like I said, there's some things they cannot unsee, and they need more than they are given at this point in time. They need a lot. They need a lot more than they're getting now.
Well, I tell you what, I can see the passion when you're talking about that. I see the passion that you speak with, and Daniel, I know the passion you have for the law enforcement community, and just by doing the show. I mean, just that's sponsoring and bringing this show to Extra is so stinging important. So I can't wait to get on the other side of the break. We'll talk about that. We're talking with Daniel Madelon. He is the CEO of A Second Chance Bail Bonds. We also have Kim Peace Hill. Her and her husband Doug started Blue Thanksgiving. And then we have Barbie Brown, who's an avid supporter of law enforcement, a husband that has been, you said 32 years now?
Almost 30.
Almost 30 years. Goodness gracious, serving the community. It's people like this that make your community great. It's why you need to support them. It's why you need to be involved in your community. Find out how you can pitch in. Find out how you can lend a hand. We'll do that on the other side of the break, give you that opportunity. We'll talk about some of the stories who've been helped by Blue Thanksgiving, by A Second Chance Bail Bonds, and just all the good stuff, because there's plenty of bad news out there. Let's focus on some good news too. But I do want to get to that, maybe a little bit of the heavier stuff and what people can do to help, and what our municipalities should be doing to help as we back our blue and back your blue here on Extra 106.3. We'll be right back. All right, there's one.
That was
This morning in the Atlanta airport, no one's missing a meal on Mac Wilburn's watch. With 11 restaurants to serve passengers, he's got dining for every destination. And it all started when Mac talked with First Horizon Bank about opening a franchise in the airport. Now it's open for business and cleared for takeoff. First Horizon Bank. Let's find a way. Go to firsthorizon.com/Mac. First Horizon Bank, member FDIC.
Finding your direction, a career path, can be difficult. There's so many choices. Check out Life University and explore your options at their Eagle Madness Preview Day on Saturday, March 2nd. It's your opportunity to spend the day learning about their unique undergraduate programs like culinary nutrition, biology, business administration, and more. Come discover exciting majors and talk to current students and faculty at our beautiful Marietta campus. We'd love to see you at our Eagle Madness Preview Day on March 2nd. For more details and to register, visit life.edu/join today.
Extra 106.3 and A Second Chance Bail Bonds are here to back your blue. Now back to the show on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
Welcome back to Back Your Blue on Extra 106.3. My name is Tug Cowell. We have some special guests in here today that do incredible work on behalf of our law enforcement community, the first responders community. And they are part of an organization called Blue Thanksgiving. And when you think Blue Thanksgiving, like, what in the world does that mean? Once you learn about what they do, it will fall right into place. You'll completely understand why they call it Blue Thanksgiving. Kim Peace Hill is the founder, along with her husband, Doug, who's a Marietta attorney, and an avid supporter of law enforcement. And her husband has been in law enforcement for nearly 30 years. Barbie Brown, and we also have Daniel Madelon. He is the CEO of A Second Chance Bail Bonds here on Extra 106.3. For today's show, in the end of the last segment, we were talking about what our municipalities, what our communities need to do better to support our men and women in uniform, our law enforcement, our first responders. And I saw your face light up, but then I saw it get very emotional, Kim.
Well, what I was thinking about was a few of the stories that I've heard that I really won't go into, but the fact that some of the things that these officers are dealing with and what they see on a daily basis, the crimes and the scenery, the scenes and the investigations they're dealing with. There's a lot of terrible things that they see and experience that they cannot unsee. Mental health and wellness is vital to these officers and their families. They go home. A lot of the marriages have troubles because they don't know how to handle or deal with the things that are taking place on the work side.
Who would know how to handle that?
You can't. I mean, how can you walk into something that I don't even want to imagine and deal with that, and then go home and look at your family or your children, and it takes a toll on the family and the home life. I'm the mother of a law enforcement officer. I'm not the spouse of one. Barbie probably could tell you a little bit better how a family on that side deals with the stresses, but mental health and wellness is a huge, important, very important part of the support that they need. If they're not getting enough of that support and those resources through their employer, Blue Thanksgiving in 2024 plans to start a new campaign geared toward helping provide additional resources to officers on a very private level, of course, in addition to what they are getting or are not receiving through their employer.
Because I would imagine that some of these officers, they're supposed to be the bravest, they're supposed to be the wisest, the most well-trained. And yet when you experience something like that, it's much like people that have gone off and fought wars. You come home and you're almost embarrassed that you don't know how to process what you've seen or what you've been through. And I can see that being something that those guys don't want to talk about. Those guys and men and women don't want to talk about because it shows some sort of weakness, and it's the exact opposite of that.
That's
It's
right.
very human to have those emotions.
And some of them cannot handle the demons. They can't fight them off. We've lost suicide rate in law enforcement is at an epidemic.
As a military guy, as a former Navy, military suicide's the same
Military
way.
too.
There's just a lot of crossover here. I've never worked in law enforcement,
But you're right.
but having been in the military and worked with our military police and then worked in this job here at Extra and jobs in the past, working country radio, you spend a lot of time with law enforcement officers, and you see, while they're at work, they're
10 feet tall.
Yes, elevated.
10 feet tall.
That's right.
awesome.
But it's the truth.
It's true.
10 feet tall and bulletproof, even, to quote
Absolutely.
Travis Tritt. We'll have to start quoting country songs in here. But it's the truth. But when the uniform comes off and they get home and they pet their dog on their head and feed the cats and then take the kids out in the backyard and push them on the swing, they're no longer that. They're just regular folks, no different than you and I. And if we would have experienced some of the things that you've described and discussed and that we've all seen on the news before, we wouldn't know how to handle it. And I think that's such a humanizing thing. It really does put a human touch for lack of a better way of describing it, on what these people deal with when they come home. I think that's so. I guess the next thing is, what is it? What is next year? What is it that you're going to do, and how are you going to accomplish whatever you're setting out to help, especially in mental illness, which is an epidemic around the country, not just in law enforcement.
People are always, you hear a lot about how the law enforcement officers need to better handle situations where the subject that they are called to come and deal with may be having a mental crisis. What about the officers who are having mental crisis? Nobody seems to say anything about the other side. Everybody is worried about officers overreacting or doing something that the public, with their limited knowledge and understanding of the situation, assume this officer should be handling this case. What about the officers? So while there are health insurance plans in place with pretty much every agency that I'm aware of, there's a huge stigma attached to asking for help.
Absolutely. You're seen as broken or
weak.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
Right.
So what we hope, and we have already put together a committee made up of some fabulous people.
There we go.
We are.
Well, they're working with y'all, so I would assume they're fabulous, because so are y'all.
We've got some really good, fabulous mental health professionals that we're going to be working with, and officers. We're going to start small because we need to learn that we're new at this. We're going to start small with one agency, and we're going to build from there and offer additional mental health resources and counseling away from their insurance, their employer, something that they can go to on a more private, unattached level. Hopefully, some of these officers will see this as an opportunity to find counseling in a place where nobody will know that they have gone. There won't be any insurance to claim or file paperwork, any of that. So that's where we're going to start.
Like it comes from such a sweet, honest place. Yeah, and I'm sure, as the wife, Barbie, of a law enforcement officer for nearly 30 years, there's been those days when your husband comes home and he's had a tough day, and either is A, going to vent about it, or B, don't want to say anything about it, and both have their benefits and drawbacks.
That's right, and effects on the family.
Yeah, no question.
Because we don't know what to say, or
because how could you?
How can we help?
Yeah, how could you know what? There's no way to know what to say.
That's right. So that'll just give these officers what we're looking at, an opportunity, which a lot of them worry. Hey, I don't want my supervisor to know I need help because I am 10 feet tall and bulletproof. But,
and I have to be.
Yeah, and I have to be. And they're like, they think about later on promotions or the opportunity to excel, but they just need someone to talk to. And I think it's going to be a big deal. I really think that what we're putting together is going to be a big help, and it's very needed.
Well, it's kind of like the way that Blue Thanksgiving started to begin with, because you said you're going to focus on one agency. That's the way it started, with a plate of cookies that went to one agency. So you're telling me, what you're telling me is you're going with a proven method here.
That's right.
You're going
it worked.
With what you know.
We started very, very small with a plate of cookies, and look at us now.
So then, how are we going to fund this? Even with one agency, it is still going to cost money. There is, and probably a lot of money, I would imagine. Mm-hmm. So I know y'all do golf tournaments. I know you do a lot of different events. You got a big Christmas gala coming up, and though it's sold out this year, maybe you can donate, I don't know, things for auction, or maybe you can bid on items, from silent auctions. There's several ways to help. So let's go through some of the ways you're going to pay for this new program.
Well, we do have the gala. Part of the proceeds. The Blue Family Christmas Gala was started 5 years ago. I have to tell you a little bit of background.
Please do.
So 5 years ago, we were delivering Thanksgiving Day meals to officers around Cobb County, like we've always done. And we heard a story about a sheriff's deputy whose wife had passed away and left him with small children. And I told my husband, we've got to do something. We can't just ignore this. So we put together a campaign and we raised money. We gathered gifts for the children. And the campaign culminated with a holiday open house at a local hotel lobby. It was small, but the outpouring of support was incredible. The following year, we grew. We added 3, I believe it was the second year, was 3 officers, and it grew over the next 4 years. This is our 5th year, and every year we help officers in need with the funds we raise from this gala. We've helped officers with everything from organ transplants, brain tumors, lung cancer, pancreatic cancer, death of spouses, leaving them with small children. I mean, we have really helped some officers in financial and emotional
stress
need.
And need, yeah.
Yeah. So this year, we are very grateful that we don't have 5 officers this year that are in that situation. We do have a couple that we're going to be helping this year, but in addition to helping those 2 officers, we are going to pull a portion of the proceeds to launch the campaign for mental health and wellness. So the funds we raise at the Blue Family Christmas Gala will go to help the officers in need, but also to start this campaign in 24.
And Daniel, that's where y'all come in, because I know you're so financially supportive of Blue Thanksgiving, and I guess, if I had to guess, you're probably going to be helping out with this too, huh?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, this, like I said, falls in line with our core values of who we are at A Second Chance, and we love stuff like this. You know, it's
just
no-brainer.
pure. I mean, there's so many things on, movies and TV and websites and things that don't matter. And look, I'm a sports guy, man. I love the Braves, love the Bulldogs.
Go Dogs!
And it's right, sick 'em, absolutely. And for me, there's even you're losing the purity of college sports, with money and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's all kinds of ways that you can splice and dice. But my point is that this is the pure that I think people are looking for. The real, it's like it's real life. When you go to church and you read the good book and you pull the lessons from there that are pure and real, and you recognize it. And I think that's what Daniel and the team at A Second Chance Bail Bonds have seen in what y'all do, and that's why you're here today. Just that purity of heart and a servant's heart on both, and your husband a servant's heart as well. So it deserves to be praised, and it deserves to have the attention that it needs, because there's not a lot of it out there. Or at least they would, if you watch the news at night, you would think there's not a lot of it out there.
Right.
Because there really is. There's more people like us, right? There's more of us than there are them. Well, or I'd like to think that.
Yeah.
There are more good folks out there than not.
There's a bit of good in everyone.
I think so, too.
And during the holiday season especially, and I've had to remind countless law enforcement officers of this, the ones that we sponsored, they were like, oh, I don't want people to give money to me. I don't take charity. And I have to explain that there is good in everybody. And during the holiday season, they long to do something positive and, like you say, pure and good. And we're a vessel. That's all we're a vessel. Come through us and let us help you do something good for law enforcement, and people feel good. And I tell the officers, allow the public to do something good. They need that.
No, I agree with you. Mm-hmm. And Barbie, you called it a family. And where does charity start? At home, where families are.
That's right.
Yeah. I think you could do the math very, very easily and simply. But I get it. As a guy, I had this conversation yesterday. When we go to Braves games, and they're like, all right, all the veterans stand up, and we're going to give a round of applause. And I never stand up. And my wife and son are like, stand up. I'm like, no way I'm not standing up. No. I'm not looking for applause. I'm not looking for that. I don't need that. And that's why those officers are so reluctant, because they're like, I'm here to serve. I have a servant's heart. That's what I do. I don't accept. I give back. Thank you. Yes, that's exactly what I was looking for. I give back. Yep. And so sometimes you have to. And there's those occasions when finally my wife and my son will ride me hard enough, and they're like, stand up. And I'll stand up
the
for a
same
split
thing to my
second.
husband.
That's right, because he didn't want that praise.
No, not at all. I'm like, stand up, because I'm so proud.
Yeah, right. And it's that way with my wife and son too. They give me a hard time because most of the time I probably deserve it. I mean, let's be honest. But they're always so they're as proud of my service as I am. I mean, my wife has these old recruitment posters that I've had rolled up in a Daniel, I'm not kidding, man. Seriously, rolled up in a cedar chest. Like once a year she'll go find one of them and have it framed because and now they're hanging all over the house. We've been married 22 years. She's been doing it a long time, But she values that, and I think that people listening right now are going to value what y'all bring with Blue Thanksgiving, and then ultimately, the extension of that for mental health awareness, because we all know that people are suffering when it comes to mental health. We're seeing it across the country, and we're focused on law enforcement, but we see it in the military, we see it in civilian life, we see it everywhere. So the fact that you're willing to tackle it's like David, and Goliath. It's what it feels like.
It is.
And y'all are David, but you're going to knock over Goliath. I can see it coming.
I hope so. I hope we make a difference. I hope we have an impact.
You will. It's impossible. For me, from my perspective, it's impossible to care about something with the passion that both of you two ladies have, and I assume your husband has too, to be along on this ride. It's impossible to have that passion and in a pure way, and in a kind and generous and thoughtful and caring way. It's impossible to not have a positive impact. It just can't happen. The addition doesn't work.
Well, for me, I mean, just to see our officers and what they do. I mean, Cobb County, they have a PAL program where they have camps for children that doesn't get to go and be on a team, and then they've got their community affairs unit that are out there reading books to children at schools. They're going way over and beyond. They just want the community support to know that hey, we're there for you. Let's connect.
Right.
And so if we can all do this together, Daniel, Blue Thanksgiving, all of us, and just support them in all they do. It's a win for everybody.
Yeah, it is. No question about it. Because when you have a law enforcement agency that is in the best care of the community, and they're comfortable, and they don't have to worry about stigmas or worry about making it home to their spouse or their children, then they're going to come from a very different perspective than if things are chaotic and things aren't going as well. So community support is imperative. It has to happen. And then ultimately, because of their presence, the community's better off. It's a win-win.
100%.
There's no other way to look at it. So golf tournament. You got a golf tournament. You just had one recently, and then I heard you just say you scheduled it for August of 2024 to, again, raise money for good cause.
That's right, and we'll have the information on that on our website very soon. But the last golf tournament was our first. It was very successful. It was aptly named Let Them Eat Turkey. The goal was to raise enough money to feed the officers on Thanksgiving Day, which is, of course, where we started. And so we've got next year's, we just signed the contract again for Brookstone Golf and Country Club. Out in Ackworth, and we'll be back out there again next year. It was a lot of fun. We had a huge showing, and it was great.
Now, y'all golfers? Both of you play golf?
No. This one maybe.
Yeah.
Not
me. Barbie, you golfing?
I acted like it.
Yeah, right.
I was really out there for the fun of it.
That's right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I know.
She drives a mean golf cart.
Yeah.
That's right. Absolutely. That's so much fun.
It was the outfits.
Yeah, that's right. Well, see, that's what it's really about, right? Being able to dress up cute, look all pretty on the golf course. You don't care if you hit the ball. Who cares? It's the equipment. Daniel, it's not the person using the equipment. It's the equipment.
It's the equipment.
I can hear my husband laughing right now. Like, no, she didn't.
That's the truth.
I didn't even try. That would have been comical.
Daniel, are you able to get out there with a golf?
I'm actually very bad at golf.
No, me too. I'm horrible. But again, it's the equipment.
I'm on more golf
sponsors.
courses a
That's
year
right.
sponsoring tournaments, and I pretty much drive around the golf course and
hand out cold beers and things.
exactly.
Or ice cold Coca-Cola, whiwhichever it is.
I might have partaked.
Yeah, right. I may have too. If I'd have been out there, I would have probably raised my hand as well. It is. But so there's some other things that are going on. I know you got some Thanksgiving events and then a holiday gala that's coming up, and that is on December 14th. It's a sold-out event. Tell me about the actual event.
The Blue Family Christmas like I said, started 5 years ago. This is our 5th year, and it has grown every year. It started with about 45 people, and we're up to over 400.
What, 45 people in volunteers or 45 guests? Or?
Everyone that came to the holiday open house after to finalize or to culminate the campaign itself that first year. We had about 45 people in attendance. And this year, we are going to have over 400.
Wow.
It's at the Governor's Gun Club. We have...
up in Kennesaw?
It is. And we have some incredible sponsors, a lot of fabulous donations. Barbie is going to be doing the live auction like she did last year. It was fabulous.
Are you an auctioneer?
Imagine that.
Are you really?
Don't make me do it right here.
No, I won't. But I'm so impressed because
She's great.
I've hosted some events before, and they'll be like, "Hey, we need you to auction things." I'm like, "I'm not an auctioneer."
She's great.
But that's not easy, man. That's a skill.
No, I had a partner up there. I've got a great friend, Corey Jones, that works over at
Corey. What's up, buddy?
Shout out.
We get several, shotguns, pistols, things like that.
Great sponsor.
Bulldog prints, and he's just a great sponsor overall. And he gets up there and he knows that stuff. Where I can just stay over here and kind of bid it up, and the two of us, we just have the best time.
That's just awesome. Just laughing and cutting up and auctioning off, and everybody's in. So it almost turns into like Saturday Night Live sketch routines out there.
That's exactly what it was.
That's right. Well, look, who wouldn't want to be around that? You're doing good. You're bringing awareness. You're helping people, and you're getting a laugh too.
It is truly a fabulous evening, but not only do we have the live auction for people that are actually at the gala to bid on, we have a silent auction that is off the chain. We have got...
Wow, she hit me with off the chain. Let's go.
We have got, to coin an old phrase, I guess, we have got over 100 items, everything from Kate Spade and Coach to Tiffany of New York.
Goodness.
Yeti. Oh, my goodness. We have got all kinds of things on the silent auction, and you can actually bid on those items from the comfort of your home and your laptop.
What's the website? You got to share that.
I will have to. It's Blue Thing. It's HTTP.
Well, you're gonna worry about that. Just hit me with the address. Yeah.
Well, you have to. www doesn't work for this apparently, but it's bluethanksgiving.home.
Bluethanksgiving.home.
.qtago.net. It's a long website.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Give me your website that people can link to.
Perfect. Bluethanksgiving.com. There you go.
There we go. And then you can find the link to the.
I will put a link on our website.
See, that makes the most sense because you start throwing out.
That's
a long one.
Seriously, I can't remember my own wife's phone number. There's no way I'm going to be able to remember that.
I'm blonde over here.
There we go. Exactly. Barbie's throwing herself under the bus this morning.
I did.
I love it. When we come back, we'll wrap up with the fine folks from Blue Thanksgiving. You're listening to Back Your Blue. Daniel Madelon, he is the CEO and supporter of so many great causes at A Second Chance Bail Bonds. We'll continue next on Extra 106.3. My name is Tug.
This is Back Your Blue, presented by A Second Chance Bail Bonds, live on Extra 106.3 FM and streaming for free anytime on the Extra 106.3 app.
Welcome back to the final segment of Back Your Blue for this weekend. My name is Tug Coward. Along with Kim Peace Hill, her husband, Doug, and they founded Blue Thanksgiving that we've been talking about, along with Barbie Brown, who's an avid supporter. Husband been in law enforcement for almost 30 years serving his community, and then Daniel Madelon, of course, the CEO of A Second Chance Bail Bonds, who is a supporter of our men and women in law enforcement, but of course, the topic of today, a supporter of Blue Thanksgiving. So we finished that last segment with how people can come out to golf tournaments and be a part, and there's a silent auction, so you can bid on things from the comfort of your home if you can't get out to an event. But there's plenty of ways to donate to Blue Thanksgiving in all the things that you've talked about on the show today, and all of it going to a good cause.
Right. I would suggest people just look at bluethanksgiving.com. You can see all the different things we've got going on under our What's Happening page. You can also follow us on social media, primarily Facebook because I'm old. And I hear that's why I'm using that platform so much. But at any rate, there's ways you can donate.
It's the biggest platform, too, by the way.
Oh,
so,
is it?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Well, good.
So there's more people on there than any other social media networks. You've chosen the right one.
It's the only one I really have time for. With everything else I'm balancing in life right
I'm
now.
telling you.
But please check out the website, our Facebook page, now and then Instagram.
Yeah, there's so many ways that you can get involved in and be a part of and help further this cause of Blue Thanksgiving that started with delivering cookies and now are delivering actual Thanksgiving meals. Yes,
Hundreds.
right. Oh my gosh, supporting our law enforcement agencies like never before. And if you support them, then sometimes it's all it takes is a thank you. Right,
little
Barbie?
things.
Little things help.
Yeah, my husband's come home and said, I was having lunch today with a couple of the officers, and a little boy, I think he was like 7 or 8 years old, came over to the table, and he just wanted to shake all their hands.
That's so cool.
It was awesome, and it meant
sweet.
everything. So just a thank you, or just I appreciate you, goes
kind
such
word.
a long way.
I know at church we have officers. We go to Perimeter in Johns Creek, and there's always off-duty officers that are out there, whether directing traffic is a relatively big church, and or they're just there to make sure that everything is okay. These days you have to make sure everything is okay, and I try to. I make sure, and I know they've seen me, and they're like, "Oh, here he comes. He's going to say thank you." They see me because we've been going to church there for 10 or 12 years, and a lot of the guys have been there for a really long time. And it's funny. My son asked me one time. He was like, "Why do you say it every weekend?" I was like, "Why not say it every weekend? Like, because it matters." You don't know what guys are going through. You sometimes just a kind word is meaningful. And I'm going to brag on my co-host on the Morning Extra, Carlos Medina. He and I went out on a Friday, grabbed lunch. We got done with the show, and it was back during the summer. It was a beautiful weekend, and there was an officer in there, maybe even a couple officers in there having lunch at the place we were. And he didn't make a big deal out of it. He just said, hey, when our waitress came over, he's like, I was going to pick their lunch up, and she was like, "Oh, great, that's awesome." And she was like, "I'll tell him." He was like, "No, just let them know that somebody bought their lunch for them. That's all I want to do." And Lowe's a great guy like that. Daniel, I know you deal with folks all the time that are trying to do the best they can to help out and assist and promote our law enforcement community.
Yeah, absolutely. And also I think people don't realize how much law enforcement gives back to the community.
Holy cow, that's a whole different onion.
It
right.
is.
Yeah, and I mean that's a lot of stuff that we're involved in as well too. So we're on the other side, and then tomorrow I'll be with the entire Gwinnett County Sheriff's Office at the fairgrounds. We're doing over 5,000 turkeys to families.
Goodness.
And that's coming from the Gwinnett County Sheriff's Office. So
yeah.
And we're Second Chance bought, I don't even know, I've lost track of how many
whole bunch of turkeys,
but a lot of turkeys, and our whole team will be out there tomorrow. So it's even that type of stuff, and like even all the law enforcement agencies around, not only just Cobb but all over. There's so many givebacks. Cobb County Police Department. Anytime Major Bullock calls me, I'm like, yes,
how do I help?
Yes, we're in.
That's right. Absolutely.
For events that they're doing for the community. So I think it's a great thing.
It's a calling, man.
Going on. Yeah, it's
a calling for sure.
Yeah, it's awesome to be a part of.
That's awesome. Thank you, Daniel.
And Kim, though, that kind of brings me to something we were talking about in the break is that you've started with Cobb, but y'all help out a lot of different municipalities, a lot of different agencies.
A lot of people think that we're focused on Cobb PD, but that's not the case. We go throughout Cobb, and once in a while when the need arises, we have even stepped across the border. Last year we helped an officer out of, was it Gwinnett, that was shot in the line of duty, and his family needed some help, and so we even did that. But all of the city municipalities, in Cobb County, all of the precincts with Cobb PD, we help Smyrna, Ackworth, Austell, Powder Springs, Marietta, Kennesaw, all of them. And we're going to be delivering about 400 Thanksgiving meals in a couple of weeks. And that's all of the on-duty officers within Cobb County.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. Mm-hmm. Barbie, when you see this happening, knowing because you come from a law enforcement family, and as you do, Kim, you have, as a son that's in the community, but we'll go from the wife of an officer, that point of view. It has to put a smile on your face every time you see it, and it just never gets old.
it makes my heart so full because I know how much it means to them. I know how much it means to each family. And the things that Daniel are doing and Blue Thanksgiving and, other organizations in the community, it just goes such a long way. It makes a big difference.
I know it does. And as we get ready to close out the show, is there anything that I left out, anything I didn't hit, anything that folks need to hear about Blue Thanksgiving or any of the other things that y'all are working so hard to get done? Because we've hit the golf tournament, we've hit the Christmas gala, we hit all the things that you're doing for Thanksgiving. Is there anything that I left out?
There is one thing.
Oh, see, I knew there would be.
And I just remembered it.
Oh, here we go.
Her light bulb just
So,
I feel like we need a breaking news sounder. Breaking news.
the Cobb Community Foundation has partnered with United Way. And for the first time this year in Cobb County, they're going to be releasing what is called a holiday wish list. It's like the old Sears and Roebuck wish book. You remember when we were kids?
Of course, yeah.
Anyway, they chose 30 nonprofits, and Blue Thanksgiving is one of those 30
Let's
that they
go.
chose.
Congratulations.
So when you see that coming to your email box or in your Thanksgiving Marietta Daily Journal edition, if it comes to your mailbox, please look up Blue Thanksgiving in that wish book, and we've got three areas there that you can donate and contribute. It's our wish list for the holidays, and we just ask for your support.
What are the three? You can't just leave us hanging. I gotta know what they are.
One of them is to help pay for our fundraising software.
Okay.
The other wish is mental health sessions, counseling. And the third, what was the third? I'm trying to remember. Feeding officers at the first responders active shooter training next year, which we did last year.
Look at there. As we close out the show, we broke news. We've learned a lot of great things. Daniel, thank you so much, first of all, for doing the show, putting it together, because you see the platform that you've handed to an organization like Blue Thanksgiving and the good that they do. And now not just the four of us know, not just the five of us that are here in this room know, a lot of other people know about it, too, that may have never heard about it before, including me. I'd never heard of it before. So it's just a blessing to have y'all on today. Thank you so much for coming in. Kim Peace Hill, her husband, and her, Doug, they created Blue Thanksgiving. Barbie Brown, an advocate and supporter. Husband is a law enforcement officer. And, of course, Daniel Madelon, he is the CEO of a Second Chance Bail Bonds. Wrapping up, Back Your Blue on Extra 106.3. There you go, ladies.
Wow.
Finding your direction, a career path, can be difficult. There's so many choices. Check out Life University and explore your options at their Eagle Madness Preview Day on Saturday, March 2nd. It's your opportunity to spend the day learning about their unique undergraduate programs like culinary nutrition, biology, business administration, and more. Come discover exciting majors and talk to current students and faculty at our beautiful Marietta campus. We'd love to see you at our Eagle Madness Preview Day on March 2nd. For more details and to register, visit life.edu/join today.
Job seekers, stop the endless job hunt. The Blue Collar Recruiter is your key to the career you deserve. Are you a skilled worker seeking the right opportunity? Look no further. We connect you with employers who appreciate your dedication and expertise. Technicians, electricians, plumbers, welders, and more. We've got it all, and opportunities are just waiting for you. So skip the frustration and let us guide you to your next job. Call the Blue Collar Recruiter, 678-916-6145, or visit thebluecollarrecruiter.com.
Is this the year you want to grow your business? Do you want to expand your team? Build a new office? Hey, it's Tug, and I want to tell you about First Liberty Building and Loan. Aren't you exhausted by going to lenders, building a relationship, and a week later, you're dealing with a new person? You won't have to with First Liberty Building and Loan. The Frost family has been helping businesses grow since the 90s, and they can help you too. They know the patterns, they know the ebbs and flows, and they know business. Now the Frost family wants to know you. FirstLibertyGA.com. Buying a building, building a building, buying a franchise, or expanding. Reach out and spend 10 minutes with them. See if you're a fit for them and if they're a fit for you. FirstLibertyGA.com. By the way, if you're a young banker and you want to work with a team that's faith-friendly with a culture of excellence, First Liberty might be a good match. Reach out to First Liberty Building and Loan at FirstLibertyGA.com. That's FirstLibertyGA.com.